Hello.
So this week was about the different types of power. And I think
Yeah.
the prompt says to discuss experiences where we've used the different types of power. And I think what we can say from that about our view on leadership, right?
Yeah.
Or
So
where we stand in leadership.
So the 5 sources of power and influence. There are like certain ones that I would say I've been involved with more than others, or that I favor more than others. Like coercive power is one that I don't really prefer because it's like the ability to administer punishment or to give negative reinforcements / threats. So to like motivate somebody with threats, you know?
Yeah.
I have experienced that, like being in a sales job, you know? So it's kind of how it is. Like you're gonna have all of your hours cut if you don't sell. You know, there's that threat right there. And then like reward power was something it's a type of power that I kind of prefer. You know, because who doesn't want to like give someone something for their positive work? Mm-hmm. I've experienced that too. You know, like having time off because I met a goal, whatever else. And then like another one that I really liked was referent power. It's like being a role model, basically. It revolves around like loyalty, like so like friendship, or just like a really well developed like interpersonal relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like genuine, you know.
Yeah.
And I definitely had those too in the workplace and out. So yeah.
Yeah, I also said for referent that's the type of power I would say we use most around friends. Like I do a lot for other people so that, if I ever needed something, then they would do it for me because I feel like they have that like loyalty, that esteem. So not that it's like, taking control of your friends, but it's that type of power where you have over each other that you'd help each other out.
Yeah, it's a give and take.
Yeah. And then I also said that I've used the reward power, like I'd say right now, because I work for Red Bull where we do the mobile marketing and we like hand out Red Bulls to people, but it's free and it's something people value. They see it as like a tangible gift. So I say when I'm working that, so to speak, that some sort of reward power over people that are like, see us. And then I said for legitimate and semi-referent power would be like when I babysit because the parents kind of put me in charge as the boss. And even though, they might not like my decision that night, what I decide to do is we're watching this movie. Like they don't agree, but in that moment, I'm the boss, even though it's like not even like if they say it's more like I don't know, like a more professional job, but I feel like it really fit. I don't know, when I was thinking about it, like I am the boss in that situation. But also, to some of the kids, it's more referent because they kind of do what you say because they admire you. Like they admire the babysitter for some reason. It's like this older person that's just like, oh my gosh, they're so awesome. So then they want to do everything you do and everything you say. So I thought it was kind of a split power. And then I'd say I'm on a club team with the school, and I've been on it since my freshman year. And so now that I'm a senior and we have like new people coming to our team, I hold kind of like the expert, but I'd say it'd be like split between expert and information power because I have all the connections with the school and the sponsors that we've talked to for the past 4 years because I'm one of the only people that have been for the past 4 years, whereas they don't have all the information of how they're supposed to get in touch with people or like go to competitions and stuff. So they don't have the access, but I think the information was saying that you bring access to people, access to things that they might not have access to, or information that they don't know of. So I kind of inform the new kids of what's going on the team, and that's where I saw that power. And yeah, those are the ones I looked into on my end.
Anybody else?
Yeah. So Fawzi, you want to go?
You can go ahead first. It's fine.
Okay. All right. So when I looked at these, so yeah, like reward power and coercive power. This is something that I think everybody has experienced, whether you've wielded it or not, so to speak. This is just like classic power when you think of like a boss or a supervisor. Right? It's like someone who has power to give you something or take something away.
Mm.
I haven't. I mean, I have that power. I run a small business on the side, so I have workers who work there. But like, I don't really see it as using that power. Like you had spoken to, you see it more as like, as a maybe say like reference power or referent power. That they admire you and that they're following you because they appreciate like who you are and what you do. Not that you're holding something over their head.
Yeah.
But the two that I would say I use the most in my current role. I'm a purchasing and plant operations manager for a medical group, and so I span all of our entities. Like I manage our clinics and our surgery centers. So I go beyond the borders of each entity. So I'll sometimes have our IT director, who's technically a higher role than mine, and he'll seek me out for guidance or influence on certain things. And then also ecological power. So that was information power. Ecological power is then the effect like on somebody's like physical workspace or their resources. Again, like purchasing manager, I can decide what desk they're going to get or the computer, or if they get a whiteboard in their work, in their work area, or down to the coffee that they get in their break room.
Yeah, you see that like you kind of hold the resources.
Right. And again, not like I hold something over their head, but where
it makes a difference to them.
Yeah.
Okay. I really like the contingency theory, especially the fielder's contingency theory. I think is very important in any business because it's all about the situation in hand. So a good leader can switch his game and depending on the situation they're facing. So there's no best style of leadership. Adjusting your game to the situation in hand, and so the group has no. They should have a leader, but every member is doing his own thing at the end of the day. But they're all at the same project, so there should be a lot of brainstorming. Because at the end of the day, the group is responsible for the end product. So each member is not held by his own work. So the whole group together should be able to communicate well and deal with the situation in hand to provide the best end product or service they're providing.
Let's see.
Okay. All right. So from my experience as a bank manager assistant, which is a follower, my leader was a great leader who always used the referent power and expert power. Like in chapter 5, the authors say the referent power are not as effective for gaining evidence as cohesion reward or legitimate power. However, as my perspective, this power may effective in a short term, but they won't be effective like in a long term, because followers prefer leaders who rely on power associated with unique characteristic rather than leaders who rely on power related to their position. A Chinese philosopher, Confucius, say, "Who gain the common aspiration of the people who can rule the world." However, referent power takes a long time to develop. From my 6 months working with my leader, his personality influenced me a lot. Um, he got a lot of respect from his followers, including me. Like some people feel guilty if they can finish their job well. Like follower will even work harder or be willing to work overtime to finish their job just because that person, you know. And it's more like a internal effect, but not the command order. Only because he or she, the boss, I can't go against his or her order, and that's it. And we still need to talk about the culture.
Yeah, we haven't discussed culture and how it might influence, leadership.
Right.
So I'm going to say first. All right. So cultural difference may influence the way we interact with leader and employee power. So actually, from my cultural background, like I'm Chinese, and in our culture, we use connotative way to talk the follower. If you are leader, like you can just I know like Americans like just talk straightforward, like you got problem, something like that. But we
Very honest.
we talk with the employee with a connotative way. I don't know how to explain that, but it just we have different culture.
Yeah, I think
the culture. Go ahead.
okay. I learned about this in my intercultural business course that I was taking, and it's like how collectivistic cultures, such as they value silence like more than what's actually spoken. You know, it's kind of more like the body language thing, and it's like like they take the time to observe, you know, and see what's going on around them. Whereas Americans, I don't know, like I'm more quick to like say what I'm very blunt, you know.
Yeah.
So I just it's like a cultural, I guess, like tendency to lean a certain way, I guess.
Yeah. Or like our culture, I feel like, I don't know if it's, I feel like a lot of cultures look at like things, and I think that's part of reward power. It's like in our culture, I feel like that's accepted because we want to know what we can get out of something. You know, we're, I feel like, a more materialistic society than some others, and so I think our culture looks at what is this doing for me? What am I going to be rewarded with if I give you the power that you want? So I feel like that's part of our culture, but in other cultures they would value more. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to compare it to, but I just feel like that's maybe what we see in our culture a little more.
And I think that has to do with like individualism, you know, like the fact that we are
definitely
kind of individual.
Yeah, to kind of like
our own
tag
self.
along on that.
Yeah.
It's not exactly as family oriented, you know. It's like you have that reliance on your family. You have each other's backs like that. It's more like, okay, spread your wings and fly. You know, that type of thing. So
right, and as you were saying, I think like you were saying that in our culture it's more reward power, and I think that's a key word there. I think all of these sources of power exist in every culture, but I think it's the amount of power that each source will grant to a person that's going to vary. For example, if you're a woman in a male-dominated society and you're in a role with significant reward or coercive power, you may still run into roadblocks with some of the people underneath you because they're not respecting a woman in that position.
Yeah, that's very true. I've worked before in a company in the Middle East where women have to work maybe twice as hard as a male to be a manager and to be promoted, which is very bad, I think. Yeah, that's a big difference in the culture I felt after moving here.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Well, I feel like that was a good discussion today. We got a lot accomplished and a lot of good ideas. Yeah. Anything
So
else?
next Tuesday at 7, I guess right now, I don't know, should I post whoever was chosen to do whatever topic or on the discussion board, or do you want to do it?
Maybe in the
Move it?
text. Oh yeah,
Huh?
I'll submit the topics. I mean the ones we chose right now,
Okay.
and then maybe text the group message so Sarah can see it because I feel like she won't look at the discussion board right away.
Okay.
And we can also post it in the discussion board too, just in case. But
All right. So I'll post like each person and like what the topic is, and then just basically that, you know, restate the fact that like not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that, like we should have a rough draft ready. And so
yeah,
I guess you guys can email them to me or something.
okay,
You can put it on the discussion board and attach a file
yeah,
like that, you know?
okay,
Yeah.
All right.
All right. See ya.
All right.
Bye.
See you next week.
bye.
So next week, guys.